Hello and welcome to this recording which looks at specific order costing. Specific order costing incorporates job costing, batch costing and contract costing. Now we won't be looking at contract costing, but we will look at job costing and batch costing. So job costing applies when work is undertaken according to specific orders from customers to meet their own special market requirements. So the costs are attributed to single one-off pieces of work. So for example, a special purpose machine or a vehicle body. So they are individual jobs that are undertaken. And by job costing, we mean calculating the cost of the job. So we're looking at the direct costs, being the direct material, the direct labour, the direct expenses. Adding them together gives us the prime cost. Then we look at adding the overheads, which must be through using overhead absorption rates. That gives us the total cost. Then we'll add the profit that the organisation requires, and that gives us the selling price. So it's pulling together all of this information and putting it into a more formal layout. So we'll look at an example of job costing. So we have a lot of information here. So we have been given some information about budgeted overheads and basis of absorption. And what we're being asked about is job number 427. We've been given information about job 427. We've got some material costs, we've got some labour costs, we've got machine hours. We're told that the price quoted and charged to the customer including delivery was £17,200. And we've been told how this organisation deals with its non-production overheads. So administration and general overhead is 10% of the production cost, and the selling and distribution overhead 12% of the selling price. And we're required to present an analysis of the total cost and profit or loss attributable to job 427. So basically we want to work out the job cost for 427, show the profit and show the selling price. So we start with direct materials. So let's put a heading first. So the first thing that we want is the direct material cost for this job. So the information that we've been given about material that the direct material requisitioned, and requisitioned means request. So for this job there was £6,780 and 10 pence worth of material requested, but then £39.60 of it was actually returned. Now we're costing out the job, so we just need to know how much material was used for the job. So that's going to be the the 6780.10 minus what we returned, and that comes to 6740.50. So direct material 6740.50. The next cost we consider, direct labour. So what information do we have about direct labour? We've got 3 lots of information. Direct labour in cost centre A, in cost centre B, and in cost centre C. So in cost centre A, it's 120 hours of labour, and the employees were paid £5.84 an hour. So if we multiply that out, it comes to 700.80. Cost centre B, 39 times 570. And cost centre C, 279 times 610. So those are our labour costs. I'm going to show them separately in the job cost. So we've got cost centre A, cost centre B, and cost centre C. We just indicate that these are all in pounds. Total it up. So the total labour cost 2625.00. Third direct cost is direct expenses. So if we have a look at the information, see if we have any direct expenses. And we're told that there is a special machine hired for this job. So the hire of a special machine is a direct expense. So we've got direct expense, and that was £59. Total of the direct costs gives us the prime cost. So if we total these 3 figures, we get 9424.50. So that is the prime cost. Then we add the production overheads. To add the production overheads, you have to use overhead absorption rates. So if we go back to the information given, we're told that the budgeted overheads for cost centre A are 38,500, and we absorb on the basis of 22,000 machine hours. A reminder that your overhead absorption rates are always calculated on budgeted figures, and it's the budgeted overhead divided by the budgeted level of activity. So the overhead absorption rate for cost centre A is 38,500 divided by 22,000 machine hours, which gives us £1.75 per machine hour. cost centre B, divide the overhead by the level of activity. And again, we're dividing by machine hours, so that gives us £3.80 per machine hour. And finally, for department C, divide the overhead by the labour hours, and we get 0.98 per labour hour. So we can use those absorption rates now. So the production overheads, using the overhead absorption rate, we look at each cost centre separately. So cost centre A, we know it is an absorption rate of £1.75 per machine hour, and cost centre A, we have here 411 machine hours worked. So repeat for cost centre B. Our absorption rate, £3.80 per machine hour, times cost centre B, machine hours 657. Finally, cost centre C, the absorption rate we've calculated is 0.98 per labour hour. So we need to know how many labour hours were worked in cost centre C. So let's see if we can find this information. We have direct labour in cost centre A, cost centre B, cost centre C. So it's this 279 hours. So that gives us £273.42. So that is the production overheads absorbed. In total, £3,489.27. Adding that to the prime cost, gives us the production cost. Now in this example, we're also told how the organisation deals with its non-production cost. So the administration and general overhead is 10% of the production cost. So that's 10% of £12,913.77. And the second non-production overhead we're told about is selling and distribution, which is 12% of the selling price. We have been told the selling price to the customer, £17,200, so it's 12% of that figure. So if we now add all of these together, we have the total cost of job 427, £16,269.15. We know that the selling price is £17,200, so we can put the profit in, difference between the cost and the selling price, so £930.85 profit. So that is our completed job cost for job 427. It follows the same format as a cost summary, but just a little bit more formal in the layout and a little bit more detail within it in terms of looking at the labour in the individual cost centres and the overheads in the individual cost centres. So there we have our job cost. Now if you are asked to produce a batch cost, it is exactly the same layout. The difference between job costing and batch costing is that with job costing you're working out the cost of a particular job. With batch costing you're working out the cost of producing a number of identical items in a batch. So for example, a bakery, they would not produce one bread roll at a time. They would produce a batch of maybe 100 bread rolls. So in working out the batch cost, you would be working out the cost of producing the 100 bread rolls. So exactly the same layout, but it's for a batch of identical items rather than for one individual item. And that brings us to the end of this recording.